I hate making videos like this, but I also feel it's important to share the hard times, especially when there's something to learn from it. And learning from one another is important in the AVing community to help mitigate the losses that we all feel. So this one really sucks for me to share. I feel super frustrated and of course guilty. Anytime we bring animals into our home, in our hearts for that matter, we're responsible for their care. And when they pass away because of something they were exposed to in our environment versus the one that they'd be provided in the wild, it just has an overwhelming feeling of failure. Not that nature ever feels guilty, by the way, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. Okay. My family and I took a 10-day vacation to Thailand. And upon returning, we had, as you can imagine, major jet lag. So we kept waking up wide awake at 3 a.m. And our tiny birds who live in our home with us were the only ones that were sort of negatively affected by this, since my other birds are kept in aviaries with controlled lighting and temperatures and all of that. In particular, my Budgie Blueberry kept flying into my daughter Capri's bathroom to sleep on the curtain rod to catch up on her 12 hours of sleep that she was supposed to be getting, that we were interrupting. And since we had just gotten home, we were so excited to see the tiny birds again, and we didn't bother putting them in separate rooms to sleep to combat our new habit, because we also planned on getting on the right schedule within a couple days, so we didn't think it was a big deal. We got back late on a Thursday evening when all the birds were already asleep. So the first time we saw them was Friday morning at 3 a.m. And over the weekend, things drastically went downhill for our Budgie Blueberry. Friday, she was flying around what seemed to be energetically, other than flying and finding spots to sleep, which we gave the excuse of the jet lag and interfering with her sleep schedule. Her weight was normal, since we do weigh every single day. And by Saturday, I was calling my most experienced bird friends about medical care and asking what I should do, as well as calling into our vet, who allowed me to send pictures via text message. And just a few hours later, after getting that sort of text message consult on Sunday, my vet told me to bring her in straight away. So I dropped everything and went. Some of her symptoms she showed on Saturday, though not all at once, included things like lack of appetite. I noticed that she wasn't stoked about her food, which is very abnormal for her. That's when we started to notice a little bit of weight loss. She was acting really lethargic. And she had a lot of diarrhea, which we had gotten to get better between Saturday and Sunday, but it still didn't look right. And the vomiting is what really made us panic. I drove the 3 hours to WSU on Sunday. And she was admitted to hospital care that evening. My vet said she wanted to keep her for a couple days for hospitalization and treatment. And then I received a call Monday morning that Blueberry didn't make it through the night. If you're new to the channel, Blueberry was my little bestie that I did absolutely everything with and was intertwined in every part of my everyday. I took her everywhere, every road trip, every flight trip, hotel, Airbnb, yurt, car ride, just everywhere and everything. She was there to experience it with us. And I was never even supposed to keep Blueberry. I was supposed to train her for someone else, but that someone else decided against getting a Budgie altogether, and I don't think I've ever fallen in love with a bird so fast as I did with her. So I was just utterly shocked when my vet told me that she didn't make it. I had this expectation of picking her up in a couple days, never. And I'm a firm believer in getting necropsies done when a bird passes away. A necropsy is basically an autopsy, but on an animal, and it can really help the avian medical field learn more each time about how to help us care for our birds better. So oftentimes, we don't see answers from necropsies, which I get. It totally makes them feel like a waste of time, emotion, money. But sometimes we do, and we learn a ton of preventative measures for the future. Blueberry's initial necropsy didn't show cause of death. We had to send out for more tests to seek answers. My vet recommended a zinc toxicity test, so that's the one that we did. And it came back with extremely toxic levels of zinc in her system. This is shocking to me because I have not figured out the source of the zinc exposure, and neither of my other tiny birds are showing any symptoms, although I'll definitely be adding the zinc test to my next annuals just as a preventative measure. So not every annual exam, but just the next one due to this experience and them sharing pretty much same environments. Because waiting for symptoms, in my opinion, is too late. Out of all my tiny birds, Blueberry really got into things the least. All these results would be so much more believable with Primrose, my parrotlet, or Monet, my lovebird, who are much more beaky with everything than Blueberry ever was. Someone had actually suggested sunscreen exposure since the month before Blueberry passed away. We were on a flight trip for the whole month using a lot of sunscreen, and I had no idea zinc was in sunscreen. So that was news to me, and I wanted to make sure to share that with all of you in case it's news to you too. Another suggestion was that if Blueberry, for some reason, breeding or otherwise, could not rid herself of zinc, like excess zinc in her system, that it may be something that she was creating an abundance of in her system, since many things, including food items, contain zinc, but obviously not normally at toxic levels. Zinc toxicity as a whole results from chronic or acute exposure. So what acute is, acute toxicity is caused when a bird ingests a metallic object containing zinc, or like flakes of paint which contain zinc pigments. In this case, a relatively large amount of zinc is ingested at one time, and the levels of zinc in the body become quickly elevated. Chronic toxicity usually occurs when small amounts of zinc are consistently consumed. So those are the two types. Some common household items that contain zinc that have been common to lead to zinc toxicity in the past, and especially ones that I've been aware of, are things like post-1982 pennies, zinc-coated wire, galvanized cages, galvanized toys, chains, mesh, bells, keys, just kind of other old-style bird toys that I've warned about in videos before. And it's for this reason that I've only ever used naturally made bird toys. We only use stainless steel wire for our bird cages, or powder-coated steel, but that's for my large outdoor aviaries. For my tiny birds, it was stainless. We keep our spare change in a really cool counting jar that Dave found that literally birds can't get into to protect them against our change. Our batteries are kept in their own designated drawer. The list goes on and on. Zinc toxicity isn't a new thing to me, which is why I think I'm having a hard time determining where or how Blueberry accessed zinc. But I won't stop trying to figure it out. Out of our three tiny birds, Blueberry chewed on things the least that we ever saw. Although now I'm questioning that and all my previous beliefs of her behavior. Obviously, the science here says otherwise, but I just never saw her chew on anything she wasn't supposed to, including our jewelry, household items, like all of that. And obviously, we were gone leading up to this, but I don't know. I just wanted to share all of this with you guys because I believe in transparency. To bring more awareness and understanding about zinc toxicity as a whole, I want to share this excerpt from today's veterinary practice on zinc toxicity. Clinical signs for zinc toxicosis include passive regurgitation, lethargy, weakness, weight loss, anemia, cyanosis, polyuria, polydipsia, diarrhea, regurgitation, neurologic signs, feather picking, anorexia, and/or hemoglobinuria. Gastrointestinal ulceration can occur secondary to zinc toxicosis, possibly resulting from irritation and damage as the foreign material is ingested. If the gastrointestinal tract is perforated, the bird usually dies of sepsis and shock within 6 to 12 hours. In cockatiels, exposure to 2 milligrams of zinc per week can be fatal. This just serves as an extra reminder to be incredibly diligent with the environment that we provide our birds, because although they can be hardy in so many ways, ultimately, they're such fragile creatures that we're trying to make thrive in an unnatural environment to them.
In the dawn of first light, the sun dance of daylight, would you wait for me? As the days dance wildly, and the winds bring
Good job.
spinning round my head.
So cute. That's super cute. Oh my god. So cute. You love it? So apparently if I give it to her, she likes it.
Yeah, that's definitely the key.
Oh, you just, oh.
To come home, to come home. Look for the light and you'll know I'm home. You see by the light when I am home.
Mary's on her way to the next location. Yeah, you are. You road tripping? Blueberry, is this your breakfast?
In the fading twilight, where the days drift by, would you wait for me?